Yeah, that's old. That was old. I'm glad I didn't do that. Let's try it again. Here we go.
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
Good evening. Yes, sir. Well, it's been an interesting couple of weeks to say the least. Starting with the insurrection at the Capitol, which was very disturbing, and the interesting thing about that, I don't care what your party affiliation was. There was so that was an angry group coming through that door. And, I think we've all seen the tapes on all the networks where they were looking for the Speaker of the House. They wanted to attack the Vice President at the time, Mike Pence. And that would have been a really ugly day had some divine intervention not occurred. It was a terrible situation. And now, of course, as they are working their way through identifying those who were responsible and those who are involved, as you're seeing on all the networks, they're reporting that a lot of the people are saying as part of their defense was that the former president sort of encouraged them to do that. Now, this is their interpretation, of course. And, this investigation is probably going to end up with a lot of tentacles, and you'll probably see, hundreds more arrested for a variety of charges. The most serious thing, in my view, of course, besides the fact of just the desecration of one of the symbols of our existence, but was the beating of the police officer They pulled him down the steps and beat him with the American flag. And then you had the other officer, unfortunately, that lost his life after being struck in the head with a fire hydrant. So, this is one of those things that, at least in my opinion, I don't see how this cannot cross party lines in terms of concern and irritation at the fact that you had folks who were beaten, you had officers who were killed in the line of duty. Apparently, the Capitol was not only damaged and destroyed, but people even felt the need to defecate in the building as well. So, I mean, it was just an awful situation, no matter how you look at that.
You ever try to sit down? It's like being the only sober person in a room full of drunks. I mean, you can't. You feel just as useless. Like, what is going on? What's the point? And to the point where you ask the question, what's the point in even trying to talk? And then once you get to that point, then what's left to do? I mean, there's nothing but confrontation all around, and that's not the way to go. But I mean, people are really concerned about this, and that's just that issue. Not to mention the pandemic that's still going on. That's still climbing. That we're talking. We got good news at the end of 2020 that we were going to have a vaccine, and now we got a vaccine, but we don't have enough vaccine, and we don't know.
Don't have enough, right? And then people aren't showing up for the vaccine, so they have to throw them away at the end of the day because they can't save them.
Right. And then you got these, and then when you make an appointment, you can't get an appointment, or you got to stay in line for a long time. And old folk in lines don't work without bathrooms. Right. I mean, I don't work long with lines without a bathroom. I want you to know this right now. Let me just go ahead and say that. Thank you, being over 50. Shannon, you don't have to worry about that. But the chief is 72. And he looks good for his age.
Before we go any further, I know a lot of people are texting me saying that they can't find the link. I have it on my page. So if you go to my page, you'll be able to find it, share it for us, and we can go from there. But I know we had a difficult time getting in tonight. Just bear in there with us. But I do have it up on my Facebook page. So if you're listening on the radio, go ahead and log in on Facebook, because I know you guys like to log in with us, and please share it.
Yeah, because I have done something here. We out there somewhere, but it's just every day there's something else. I mean, I don't know how many. It's just crazy when you start a presidency with having to do so many executive orders, because you just know you're going to run into some headaches. So let me just hurry up and undo all of this stuff that I can right now. And then we can worry about the bills. I think we'll be all right with the bills and, some of the laws that they'll be able to pass. But some of these other things, like this whole impeachment situation isn't it ironic that only 5 Republican legislators had enough testicular fortitude to be able to suggest that 45 be impeached. And you know, with 5 that say he should be, of course, that leaves how many? 45 Republican legislators that don't have the guts to say that 45 needs to be impeached.
So, Wendell, question, why do you think they don't have the guts to say, you know, he incited this riot, it was led by him, it was caused by him? Why do you think that they don't want to?
Caused by him, and they were after all of them. All of them were in danger. Democrat and Republicans were in danger that day. So, you know, to how quickly they forget. So they can't forget. I think the basic reason is, I don't think it has much to do with Trump. And I don't know, no one said this. And they're trying to act as if they're acting on these legislators are trying to act as if they're acting on their own conscience, not letting them do this. They're taking a moral stand. But I think it's a cowardly cop-out because a lot of those legislators come from districts that are still 60 to 70% who look like those fools that came up in there on the 6th. So they're like, if they're still that heavily Trump and crazy enough to go defecate in the Capitol and break up stuff and have zip ties ready to get people and a noose ready to hang the vice president, who was Republican as well. I mean, if they're crazy enough to do that, then why wouldn't they come and wreak the same kind of havoc on them in their homes or their families or things like that? Now, they're not going to admit that. They're going to think they're taking a stand, but I think they're pretty much just scared of the crazies that are out there because their districts are still 60 to 70% Trump supporting. And if that mindset is there that put them in office, it's going to keep them in office. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I think. No one said that. You'll have none of them that will probably admit to the fear, but you hear the things that they're doing. Threatening of Representative Hakeem Jeffries, whose brother, I believe, is if he's still at Ohio State University, he's a professor at Ohio State University. Well, Ohio, is one of those states. One of those Ohio and Pennsylvania is one of those states that's always up for grabs. Mm-hmm. And here they are saying, "Hey, we're on your street." Pretty much, we're on your brother's street. You might want to change your vote or change the way you're looking. You might want to think about that. I mean, who can legislate? Who can worry about doing the best things for the country when you're worried about the safety and security of your family? This is crazy. This is like a civil war.
You're right.
In some ways, it's a second kind of civil war, and this is the first civil war was over slavery. This civil war ain't no slaves. Ain't no more slaves. So ain't nobody just sitting back taking a back seat. And it's funky. I mean, I am not looking for that at all. I am not advocating that at all. But when you got people that are so, hell bent on denying you, not wanting you to vote. I mean, when I was growing up, and I went to a private school, and you go in 1st through 8th grade, and you go spend the night over people's houses, and it was about from 1st grade